Welcome everyone, Gamer Saver here. Today we're going to be doing a thorough breakdown of my spreadsheet for the month of January. This is my way of doing my budget to track my income, my investments, and my expenses to see where all of my money is going and how it's moving. First up, we have my checking and savings account. We started out the month at $2,560 and ended the month at $3,110. This was a $550 gain. Despite my weekly contributions into my Roth IRA and my stocks account, I have an estimates and a goals tab that kind of lets me know where my checking and savings account should be each week in order for me to stay on track to hit my $10,000 goal by the end of the year in checking and savings. Next, we have my 401k plan that I have with my current employer. I work full-time in a grocery store as a grocery manager. I'm practically a glorified stock boy. I started out the month in this account at $29,650 and ended at $30,872. This was a $1,222 gain for the month. We went up 3.63%, and for the past year, this account is up 19.37%. I love this account because it's just a constant steady grower and it usually outperforms the market. I contribute roughly $95 a week into this account, and this is with my employer match of up to 5%, and then I contribute 5%. We then move on to my Roth IRA. This is one of my favorite accounts because the money in this account gets to grow tax-free. We started out the month at $36,482 and ended at $32,545. We do make weekly contributions into this account of $135. The goal is to max out this IRA by the end of the year. They recently increased the contribution limit up to $7,500. This account has not been doing too well. This past month was a little brutal. This number is actually a little more than what I have it going down for the month because of the day of this recording. The market is down today on Monday, February 2nd. But I have this account going down $3,937 for the month. According to my portfolio here, the past month is down 12.5%. Most of this loss came from one of my three holdings in this account, which is SoFi. For the past month, SoFi is down 16.9%. They just recently dropped a great earnings report, but because of the volatility of the market, stock still went down. Not worried about this at all. This is one of my longer term holds that I plan on having for my portfolio. It is also one of my biggest holdings. Across both of my investment accounts, my IRA and my brokerage account, I have 1,500 total shares of SoFi, which is about 2/3 of my total money invested outside of my 401k plan with my employer. My other two holdings in my Roth IRA are Mara and Nomad. Mara is a Bitcoin mining stock. Gives me a little bit of exposure to the crypto market, which unfortunately has not been doing too well recently. And lastly, I have the company Nomad. They sell frozen food. I believe they are oversold, and it's also a dividend stock. They pay 5.35%. This stock grew 4.44% for the month, whereas Mara was down 4.14%. My holdings in my IRA are long-term holds, and I try to choose stronger stocks because if I had to take a loss, I can't write them off. I tend to put my riskier stocks in my brokerage account so I can write off any losses. Next up is my stocks account, which started the month at $24,203, and we ended at $21,257 for a total loss for the month at $2,946, or about 12%. It's down a little more here for the past month on my SoFi account because I'm recording this on Monday. The market's down February 2nd. Most of this loss for the month came from my SoFi holdings, which was down 16% for the month. I do have a recurring deposit of $125 a week going into this account. Other holdings I have here are Bit Digital, which is similar to Mara, gives me more exposure to the crypto market, except that Bit Digital deals with the staking of Ethereum. This was down 11.31% for the week. Next up, I own Gambling.com, which is an online gambling marketing company. This was down 12.71%. I own Volition RX, which is probably my riskiest stock I have across all my portfolios. This company deals with the development of blood-based cancer tests. This stock was actually up 3.57% for the month. And lastly, I own Microvast Holdings, which is a company that develops batteries mostly for electric vehicles. This holding was down 18.35% for the month. We move on to my home value, which has grown quite nicely throughout the month. We started out at $162,200 and ended at $166,800. I get this number from Zillow. This estimate they have here, I believe, does not include a lot of the work I've done to the home. I've installed all new flooring throughout the house, I had a new roof put on, and I painted the entirety of the exterior of the home. We had a gain on the home value of $4,600, or about 2.8%. We then move on to our total assets, which actually went down $511 for the month. Most of the loss for the month came from my IRA and my stocks account. Thankfully, my 401 and my home value kind of went up, so it prevented my total assets from going down even more. We then move on to my mortgage, which is my only liability or debt. I do own a credit card, but I pay it in full at the end of every week. I made one mortgage payment this month, which brought my principal down $417. My mortgage is now at $87,790. My estimated payoff is July 1st of 2038. I took out a 15-year mortgage at a 6.375% interest rate. Before we move on to the net worth, we're going to go through my income and expenses for the month of January. My total income coming in was $5,496. This ranged from a low last week of $957 to a high from the first week of $1,353. My paycheck from the full-time job at the grocery store is typically $727. This accounts for my 401k contributions, my health insurance, and my HSA contributions that I have taken out. This stays relatively consistent until I get my yearly raise that's coming up, or if I have a quarterly bonus that's paid out. Whereas my eBay business, selling trading cards, fluctuates from a low of $230 last week to a high from the first week of $567. My goal coming in from eBay for the year, I'm shooting for $250 a week. I'm currently not buying any more product to sell, so I'm kind of just selling through the inventory that I have. Total expenses going out for the month was $1,826, or an average of $365 a week. My goal is $360. I was overspent $5 a week. Totally unacceptable. For expenses, I have them broken down to monthly expenses and yearly expenses. Not going to go through all of these, but in each of these columns, I kind of write the money spent on each of these categories, and then I'll make a little note on what the money was spent for. And then the yearly expenses are my expenses that don't come up on a frequent basis. I like doing this. I can kind of see where all of my money is going and how much is coming in. We end at my net worth, which ended up being down $94 for the month of January to $166,794. Most of my loss for the month came from my stocks account. Thankfully, my home value, my 401k kind of carried me. Going through my notes I have for each week, I had my biggest income week, the first week of January. I had my lowest expense week, the third week, at $165 spent for the week. And then we ended with my lowest income and my highest expense week on the last week of the month, and I also had to pay my mortgage. Looking ahead in the months to come, I'm hopeful that my IRA, my stocks account will improve, and I'm also looking forward to higher income weeks and months in June, July, and August when I work my part-time job at a restaurant waiting tables. My main focus now is to keep my expenses as low as possible. I will be posting 2 weekly shorts, one for a weekly update on my budget, and 2 for my weekly stock purchases and any sells I had for the week. If you like this style of video, showing a transparent breakdown and analysis of my finances, drop a like on the video, it would mean a lot. As always, huge shout out to Hot Joe for his insane gameplay. If you have any questions or any recommendations, drop them in the comments below. And remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you save. See you next time.